Yo, 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 yo. All right, all right, all right, all right. What's going on in the hood? Dude, let's get to work, people. Oh, yeah, we're coming in a little early today. Let's come in and do this the proper way. All right, let me make sure everybody gets. Damn. Boom, 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 boom. All right, all right, all right. Mr. Hall, what's up? All right, cool, cool, cool. Bam. All right. All right, let's fucking rage. Whoop. All right, amigos, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo estás? Bien, bien. Let's make sure everybody gets in okay, and then we got to go do the Lord's work, man. We got the market is heating up. We got things to do. Let's rage. All right, cool. Everybody's in. Hey, Hull Daddy, what up, baby? How you doing? Cool. I think I got everybody in. We're making our moves here. Hey, look at this. We got a little pull in the market. I wouldn't read too much into it just yet. The market's been doing all sorts of little fugazis lately, but we are in a clearly, we're in a clearly defined uptrend at this point, and we're right at a sweet spot. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market pull back just a little bit today, just because a lot of stocks themselves are extended, right? You know, you're starting to see a lot of stocks, right, like Nvidia and stuff like that, that just maybe have gone. They're up 4, 5, 6 days in a row, and so you usually will get like a little bit of a pull when you see something like that. But I wouldn't roll. I wouldn't think anything too much of it. Da-da-da-da. Damn. Look at that bad boy. All right, now beyond that, look at that 0.67, and then you got the SPY down 0.4, and they're both at like a little bit of probably needs a little bit of a rest, but I most likely if we get enough of a dip, it's getting it's getting bought up here. So, we did have some CPI and some other data here. Inflation, if you really think about it, inflation is the TLT is telling us that they expect inflation to kind of pick back up. Like this thing should be busting loose. And, quite the opposite is happening. And so we do have this kind of small dichotomy that's happening in the market, which is, we've been cruising, but frankly, the TLT is telling us that maybe the inflation story is not necessarily done. So we'll kind of keep an eye on this. The CPI just came out. We've seen kind of dip downs on CPI quite a few times. Watch and see if we come back into this 488 level on the markets. We're gonna be we're gonna be rolling right through this. So I got some levels marked up, but this is the perfect storm. If we could get this thing into this red line right here, or this, and then we start looking for a rebound, I think we're gonna have ourselves a little bit of fun. Hull Daddy, what's your watch list? Let me see this bad boy. Hey Arvin, what's up, baby? How you doing? Yeah, give me your watch list, Hull Daddy. Let's take a look here. Oh, Arvin's got a little DJT. Hey, look, DJT had a rest day today. Do not be surprised if this thing rips. The betting markets, I mean, even liberal commentators are all starting to freak out on the YouTubes and stuff that the Trumpster is making a big comeback. And, he's starting to kind of push in some of these polls. Even the fixed polls are starting to show him picking up some steam. As the Trumpster picks up steam, this DJT, it's a workless company, right? But it's just a play on his brand. Dude, this thing is going to be rolling with it. All right. So keep an eye. Keep an eye on this bad boy. So look, when you see something like this, like he goes from 18 to 22, right? So it's a pretty big run. And then you have like such a narrow range day after. And you can see like, look, ignore all these wicks for a second. But let's just say, right, you have this is like your range. So you have something that's been moving quite a bit, right? And then now you're really sitting in like a 1 point range the whole day. When you have something like that, now you've got yourself a real shot to get going again. And don't sleep on this. Like the Trumpster's making nobody knows how, but he's making a comeback. Joy, your favorite guy, man. I'm waiting for your impersonation. Now, let me see what else you guys got here before I get into my own watch list. Missed you. Yeah, you can roll with this there. Amazon. I'd look up your stats on that. I'm not sure. How do you trade that Amazon? And then I got Snow too. This is a fantastic setup. This is a good God-fearing Christian setup right here. This is like something like you got this big base breakout and then you got this push over it. Like, dude, that's the way it goes. Hey, Andre, remember we talked about this, man. I need you to trade different stocks than just NVIDIA and Meta. I say no to both of those out of principle. That shows me you haven't done your homework. Hey, Justin Riley, what are you watching, baby? All right, good. So we got 0.48 bounce on the pullback on the market. It's a buenos. It's a noches. Let's see if we get just a little bit more, and I think we're going to be in a good spot here. I really would love that 488, 489. Now, on the other side of things, you can see like the IWM is also opening up weak. Now, the thing with the IWM is it's like just sitting here in like this big range, right? It's a grind down range. Grind down ranges are like a little bit tricky because they're too slow to short. And right, they're not really at a spot where you can go long. So you just end up with this like big bullshit of stuff, right? So I think like at the moment, you just leave the IWM alone. And frankly, I don't even know if the IWM makes any sense anymore because small cap stocks and mid cap stocks have been fucking flying around, right? You're seeing all these kind of companies, right? Like the EVGOs and RKLBs. Like if these aren't IWM stocks, I don't know what is, right? So the IWM, it may not be going, but the stocks that you would think would be in the IWM, they are going. And so, you can just kind of ignore this and say like, all right, the IWM is just bullshit. Does that make sense? Good. Let me see this EWTX. Hey, that was a good setup. 1973 by volume. That's a very great YouTube name. Yeah, she got pulled back. Dude, that's a good setup. I mean, I'd probably be more looking to sell into this than buy into this. But there ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You got yourself a good, you got yourself a good little thing here. Let's take a look. So I think we're in the bullish phase of the market, right? Even if you get these kind of dip downs, they may not necessarily matter, right, per se. So what we need to be doing now is thinking like, all right, what is our primary and secondary and long-term trends, right? So the long-term trends are higher as evidenced by, right, your 200-day moving average, your 50, your 20. They're all curling up, right? So your trends are higher. On a short-term basis, the trend is higher too, and so is on the intermediate-term basis. So this is the Goldilocks zone. What I mean by Goldilocks zone is that there's a handful of times in a year where the market has all your MAs trending up at once, right? Most of the time, like you're kind of more in the flat or there's like cross currents happening. So when you're in the Goldilocks zone where everything is curling higher, that's the spot where like dips tend to get bought up. And oftentimes, even like things like bear flags and stuff like that turn into rounding patterns, right? Yeah, bear flags turn into rounding patterns when you're in the Goldilocks zone where everything is curling up. And so that's just, unless there's a PR on a stock. But even those will often get bought up because even bad news is good news when these kind of things happen. So just kind of be mindful of this as we go. Let's take a look and see what kind of, gappers and stuff we have. We're still a few days away from really like kind of earnings season kind of booting up a little bit. Alcoa is, kind of the official kickstart. Some people say it's the banks, but potato, tomato. Oh, look at this. This is a GXO. You got a potential sale. Hey, these type of plays do work, but this thing's a thin little bastard. I just can't get the size I need in some of these plays. Hey, now this I'm into. Anybody see a PR on this bad boy? Let me see what's up here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Sell it. We don't believe the slowdown is structural. We were too optimistic. We were too optimistic in the near term. Despite these challenges applied, market share suggests the SLH remains undervalued. We reiterate our buy rating, blah, blah, blah. This, I could be into this. Hold on here. And the reason I would even be into this is that when you have something like this, you can see like this stock is so beaten down. It used to be what, like $150, right? So price target 48 at Jefferies from 53 comments. Growth versus slowing, now trending below Red Bull, which is significant. We lower our estimate to 31, blah, 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 blah. Dun, 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 up and after. So you can see this thing is just starting to pop through. It might be worth a gander here. It might be worth a gander here. Let's take a look at the chart. Yeah, let's take a look at the chart and see what we got going on. If I could turn back time. So this thing was $100. You've given back 70% of the gains, right? You had a decent day on it yesterday, oddly enough, right? It was trading pretty clean. So now you got this, secondary kind of gap up on this bad boy. This, I think, could work. Dude, this could work. Let's add this and see if the first pullback holds on this. With the market getting so hot, that it may be time to try some of these kind of dumpster dive setups. So if you look at this stock has been getting rejected by its EMAs, especially the 20, for quite some time. See, it's just riding along the 20 SMA, right? Riding along the 20 SMA, riding along the 20 SMA. So you finally cleared it, right? Now, that's not like a buy signal in itself, right? That'd be crazy. But it is, for the first time, especially if it can actually close over it, it would be the first time, right, in this whole dump that it's done that. And usually when that happens, you'll have now like your kind of short-term and intermediate, they start to shift and you may get a little bit of a something. You had 11 million shares in volume yesterday. I would roll with this. The Wolf Nation. Dude, this stock sucks to trade. That this is the thing. These type of stocks, when they're going, they kind of infinitely make better swing trades than day trades. Because when they go, they'll like kind of double or triple. But on an intraday basis, they just kind of give you like 20, 30 cents range, right? And so it's hard to see the patterns and kind of sashay around the way you need to. So, usually these kind of things are a little bit better in a different form. Now, EVGO, this is going to be EVGO partners with Delta Electronics to develop next gen EV charging architecture. And then you got here to buy from neutral. This stock is hot. So look, it had 140 million shares in volume on its update. It cleared out all sorts of levels here, right? And on the hindsight too, like, right, it's like really like everybody gave up on the charging stations. There's just Tesla left, right? So fucking, maybe another little secondary play could be in the works here. And so you've got I wouldn't call this necessarily a flag pattern because it's not tight enough. Like you need to congeal it, right? So it's definitely not like a coiled up thing, but it's got a continuation setup, I would say. And then you've got a piece of news out. Then you got an upgrade from UBS. That's not bad. Something like that I think could work. What do you think? Hissa buenos and the noches. At it. SoxX. Yeah, this is popping up because the market itself is a little bit lower. Yin. Hey, we'll talk about these China stocks in a second because, there may be a play in them too. You see a lot of these here starting to set up here for like a little bit of a flaggy McGee. Now, personally, I think something like this is going to be. I think something like this is probably a little bit better as a swing trade than a day trade. Why? It moves mostly on gaps and its intraday range is like it's negligible for the most part. There's easier China stocks to play. Boom, boom, boom. I like it. I like the overall look of it, but I think that's probably a little bit more of a swing trade. TZA, these are all just ETFs. Chunk, 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 chunk. Good. All right. Well, let's take a look at some of these Chinas real quick. Once we go through and see if there's any bad stocks with some PRs out. Too thin. This is an ADR, I believe. Junk, 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 junk. You'll be light on the PR front for a little bit of time. Not a little bit of time, but till Alcoa kicks off in 6 days, you'll be a little bit light on PRs. Mr. Raymond, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, look, so GDS, you could definitely play this. I think there might be some, easier plays out there. It does lack a little bit of liquidity, but I would say overall that's a bullish to very bullish setup. It used to be $150, right? So I think you're right on the right track. Let's take a look at some of these other China. So you can see Baba's in a little bit of no man's land right now, right? So you got the breakout, pullback. It just needs more work, right? It's a good look, right? And it's definitely, right, looks like it's bottomed out, but it needs a good look. I think Billy, right, this thing went from 15 to 32. Now you got a steeper pullback on this one, right? A little bit of a bigger retracement. And so that gives us a little bit better RR. So if we start to see a rebound in these, I think something like this, somewhere around here, I think is a good spot. If we can test this 20 SMA, I think that'll give us I'm going to just put a little price alert right here. Let's do like 21.25. If we get there, then all of a sudden, I think we'll have something a little bit better. Get used to setting a lot. When the market gets hot like this, get used to setting a lot of price alerts because you can't watch that many stocks, right? I mean, you can, but how many can you really watch? 12, 15? 18. I got 343-inch Dell monitors. They go up to my fucking ceiling. And even I can only fit so many on these things because you can only have so much focus, right? So set a lot of alerts, right? Have an alert console up somewhere, and that'll help keep you organized. So like if you have stocks that are hot that you'd love to get into, but they're not ready at this moment, right? They have there's a caveat on them, right? They need to do a little bit of work. They need to filter through a little bit and congeal. What you do is get used to setting a lot of alerts, put some notes on them, and what'll end up happening is now your watch list of names can be 50 names or 60 names or whatever it might be. You can have a significant amount more names because you properly set alerts, and it doesn't matter so much when the market's just shit or going sideways because there's like fucking 5 hot stocks for the day, right? Or for the week. But right now, like my initial watch list was 98 names. Now, look, not all 98 names are really ready to party right now, right? A lot of them are they need work. They need some level of something going. So you start setting alerts like, hey, if it comes down into this area, study it. If it goes up to this area, study it. And then now you're going to have yourself a little bit of a better chance to go about. So I like Billy. I think it needs just a little bit more work, but it's getting there. Future is the best mover out of the group. It has a spread on it, and it's the best mover. Now, Future has this spread on it, but the other thing that kind of sucks about Future, and it depends on where you trade. I have accounts everywhere, but I love to use E-Trade Pro when I can because I just like their platform. The fucking margin on E-Trade for Future it's awful. It's significantly less than even the cash in your account sometimes. So you do have to kind of weigh that also, where you're like, motherfuckers. Damn, the margin on this thing stinks. I think the other day it was I was in some other positions too, but we were shorting it and they would let me have 800 shares or something like that. And it was what am I supposed to do with that? Right. So just kind of keep that in mind too. But going back into this, you can see it starting to kind of base out here, and there's a little bit of a level. So, kind of keep an eye on this. That's not a hot setup if you come out of this. It's just kind of you may kind of come back and fill this gap kind of thing. But, we're in a little bit of a box on Future, right? We're in a little bit of a box on Future. And so, whichever way this box breaks, essentially, it'll start to pick up steam. So it's not really there. It's not at a level where you're like, okay, I have to get it, right? I have to buy it. I have to short it. I have to swing trade it. I have to day trade it. It's at none of those, right? It's right kind of just in the middle of something. It's pulled back some, but not enough. But it's been light and it's holding up. So it's kind of strong, but not that strong. So, right, you're just in this weird, you're just in this weird kind of sweet spot. Does that make sense? Good, good, good. Yeah, just a little kind of keep a little something, something in your back head. Da 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 da. Boom, 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 boom. And I would watch these QQQs. I wouldn't be surprised to see this damn thing bounce today. We're in that phase of the market where things just get bought up really easily, and there's no shame in it, right? You just some stock dumps, and people are blindly buying things up right now. And we're in that kind of phase of the market where this can happen, and so you can see we're dumped on this CPI, and it looks nasty for a hot second, but then all of a sudden, you're like, okay, now here we go, right? You're starting to kind of push through, and you'll have these kind of rebounds and stuff like that. So just got to keep that in, into the back of your head here. You can, I don't do that much trading pre-market, but if I do, usually it would be via futures contract or something. Let me see, DJ. Yo, you DJ, pump this party. Why waste your time? You know you gotta be mine. You know you gotta be mine. Now you gotta be mine. You remember that song? That's really probably like late 90s. Okay, so look, this serve is okay. This serve's okay. It lacks a little bit of liquidity sometimes, but you are flagging out on this bad boy. Is it like some big setup? Probably not, right? But is it something that you can, keep trading? Yeah, I'd say so. Watch this kind of 1040 mark and see if it picks up some steam. And just make sure it's got all the liquidity and stuff that you need to get going. And I think you'll be okay on this. You just need that extra push out of it. Like this day was awesome, and then it's just been kind of meandering around. I'm into it. I'm into it. I think there's better out there, but you can keep it. Now, let's get back into some of these Chinas. All right. Besides Future, what else you got? You got JD, right? So JD had that big push. Now you're pulling back into the 9 EMA. So you're starting to hold up on that one too, right? LI, I think, is at an okay location. You pulled back at least to the 200-day moving average. So you do got a little bit of something over there too. Hey, Viraj, let's take a look, buddy. How you doing, my Indian brother? Hey, look, they missed on earnings, but they're not really. It's already rebounding. I wouldn't say this is necessarily bullish or bearish. It might just be something that's just there. If the dip gets bought up and it kind of takes out 52.25, you may even see a little bit of momentum on it. But right now, it's just a tweener. It's in the middle of a range. You're not at a breakout, and you're not breaking down either. And so, most likely, this is just a no trade. Does that make sense? If you want like a travel stock, right? If anybody likes travel stocks or interested in travel stocks, the hot one is this fucking CCL. Sorry for the swing. Look at this. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests of resistance, 5 tests of resistance. I mean, that's a nice hootenanny right there. Dude. Like that's something. And then NCLA, similar, right? Look at this thing. If you go back, like this thing is, it doesn't matter how you draw this stuff, right? These trend lines are all bullshit for people that draw a lot of them. You got yourself a big range break that goes back 2022, maybe even end of 2021. Dude, that's pretty good, right? Like those are the 2 travel stocks. And then look at the volume expansion on this bad boy too, right? So you got yourself 33 million shares in volume yesterday. You did have a couple upgrades and stuff. You did have a couple upgrades and stuff. So it gapped up and then just trended the whole day. But that's where you want to be, right? This is the hot heat. CCL, dude, 70 million shares in volume yesterday. Man, it ORB'd here. And then, boom, right? It was just off to the races all day. That's how you want to see your stocks act, right? When you have like these clear levels, you want to see them take out their opening ranges, and you want to see them do all of that. That's really like a great sweet spot on this. So I'd keep both of those instead of the airlines. Yeah, look at this thing. So you got a week open on this. I'd keep an eye. If they start to pull back here and retest, dude, you're in for it, right? So pull back, maybe retest around 1950. You'll have a good spot on this for a little dip buy. NCLH, you'll need maybe a little bit of a bigger one. Somewhere around here, like I think you're going to be in. You'll probably be pretty happy with that. So keep those on the watch for your travel stocks, and dude, you might be having yourself a little fun. Now, beyond these kind of names, let's get into this. Let me just kind of narrow down the watch list a bit because we've been kind of jumping around all over the place on all these different stocks. So I want to take a piece of this sell H at some point today. You got a little bit of you got a couple pieces of news out the last few days in terms of upgrades and stuff like that. I wouldn't call them upgrades, but price target adjustments. Most likely, this is bottomed out. If it can hold this 20 SMA, you're already getting a little bit of a dip buy in this. I love the overall look of it. So keep this thing going. Oh man, that's nice right there. What do you think? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Then you got EVGO. You got a flag pattern on this one. Yeah, you got a flag pattern on this one. I think this one's got a chance to hold up pretty well. You're already like kind of basing out pre-market. You got a couple pieces of news, one on a partnership and one on an upgrade. That's very nice. MSTR had basically an inside day. So you had this trend day and another trend day. Yesterday, you had an inside day. It just stopped right at the previous day's high. And you're kind of opening back up here mid-range. This is a prime time. If it starts to base out and makes an attack at 98, we may get a secondary. We could get a secondary little flag breakout on this. This 200 spot is going to be huge, right? So if you look back, right, this 200 spot is going to be huge. Now, ideally, right, on just a little bit of a longer term basis, having a little bit of just kind of congealment here, right, letting the EMAs tighten up would go a long way into like a sustainable breakout, right? You have a sustainable breakout if you can have a couple more sideways days, even maybe a couple decent down days, and just kind of test back into the 9 EMA. Now, the market's been pretty hot, so you may not necessarily get that, but we do have ourselves a potential spot. So keep an eye on this. If it attacks this 198, dude, it's breaking out. Ideally it congeals, but you don't always get that in a hot market. DJT, after the big push, you're flagging out here. You had an inside day yesterday. An inside day is a narrow range day after a big trend day. So you got a narrow range day after the big trend day. Dude, you're in for a good spot here. Hey, for you small cap lovers out there, not really my particular flavor, but this thing used to be $150. This company's at a big base. They just recently changed their CEO. And, you had a big push on it. Now you're starting to kind of congeal over this breakout spot. If you like this kind of particular flavor of stock, you may have something there that you could do. I'm not into like small caps anymore, but this used to be a $20 billion company, give or take. So you may have a chance on this. Chipotle. Look, Chipotle's got a level here. One test, two tests, three tests. You got a big base on this one. So you came down from 70. You kind of got a little hook and ladder going. And now you've been basing out on this one at 59. Now, look, there's a caveat to this one. I've thought for quite some time that this thing's going to break. I think I've had quite some time that I thought that this stock was going to break this 59. It hasn't happened yet, but it's getting there. The longer it takes, the more powerful it is. It doesn't matter how you draw it, right? It's like whether it's here or here, it's all just semantics for the most part. What you want to be doing is as you start to approach these levels, right? Start watching the price action. Watch for short-term, near-term patterns. As you get into that breakout spot, then you'll have yourself a little bit of a something. Does that make sense? Good. Dude, we're right into it. Snow. Love this one. This might be One of my favorite plays for today. You got a base breakout here. You had a beautiful trend around this thing, right? Beautiful trend around this thing. You had good range. You had 7 points of worth of range. You had a weak open. You're only down about 0.34%. When I have stocks, like, if you say you wanted a red to green something or some type of, dip buy at the open, maybe it pulls back into, some pivot point or something along this end. The weak open is usually a good spot, but you don't want it to be too weak. Like if it opens down 4 or 5%, the setup is ruined because by the time it goes red to green, it's too extended. It's already popped up 5%. It's used up its ATR for the day. When you just kind of dip down like just a little bit, right? Just a little bit, all of the sudden you can make your move a lot quicker. And then you got the full day's worth of ATR. So the ATR on this is $3, right? So if it opened down $3, by the time it goes red to green, it have already used up the ATR. And so you don't get the follow through oftentimes. That's where a lot of times new traders make the mistakes is, they don't properly gauge what the range of a trade is. And so you dip down and then it starts to rebound and people chase it back up, but the range may have already been used. And so you always want to keep it to the back of your head. 3 different types of ATRs. You have ATR, which is just like on a absolute basis. Hey, the stock moves 4 points a day, 5 points a day. You want an ATR percentage so like you're not wasting your time. This stock moves 5% a day, 8% a day. And then from there, you want a 5-minute ATR too. So that'll help you gauge where to put your stop losses. What I mean by that is, like for example, like Tesla, right, has like an ATR, like usually in the morning, that's like $1 or $2. And so if you have like a stop loss that is, 10 cents away, 20 cents away, most of the time you'll just get stopped out because its ATR per candle is just so big, right? And so you kind of want to keep that into the back of your heads as you're watching. So kind of keep track of all those ATRs and you'll be in for a good spot. So I like this one. Weak open, red to green. Let's go for it. Palantir. Everybody's been asking me about Palantir. Palantir's getting a little bit extended. I'm probably more interested in shorting this thing at these highs here. If it has like a big blowout into like say 45, 46 today, then maybe tomorrow, I'd probably try to do just like a hot little short on it. For obviously the trend is much higher now. Like it's a good looking stock. There's no getting around it. But on a short term basis, man, that's nice. Good. We got NCLH. I want to. If we dip down on these, I'm into that. So keep an eye on NCLH. CCL, both of those, I think, are going to have a chance. Now, look, AVGO did break out, Lahner, right? AVGO had a nice breakout here in the highs. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. To me, this is a swing setup. I mean, you can day trade it, of course, too. Dude, we had this thing on the opening dip yesterday. What do we had at 177.80, something like that. I obviously sold too early because I'm a piker deluxe. But man, it's got the look. I would keep this on your watch list permanently for a little bit of time. Bum, 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 bum. That's nice. Hey, one to keep an eye on. This is a little bit more speculative, and you may just need to set an alert. If it goes, it goes. Just gonna get to an hourly chart on this. This American super duper conductor company. Dude, you got to break out here. Let's just call it 24.25, 24.30. That thing is going to be hot if it breaks out. The semiconductors have also been pushing back through. So we've got ourselves a little bit of that too. That's nice. Now look, Hood had a little bit of an inside day yesterday. So you had this big push. Inside day. What an inside day is, just after the big push, you have a narrow range day that doesn't break out, right? So now you got a flat open on this bad boy. This could go off, frankly, right out of the gate. So that one, I think, dude, we want to be a part of that. Watch this thing, 25.75. We come in hot on it. Real hot. Man, that's nice. Me gustas. That might be one of the tops. SMCI, you know what? That one's dangerous stock. I got UPST. I took this NNE off the watch list too. And this SMCI, I took it off too because I fucking suck at this stock. Yeah, I think so. There was a little bit of, it's been acting a little bit weird, but just kind of keep an eye on this kind of 43 zone of love. I think you'll be in for a good spot. Now let's get back in. So that's the watch list here. I'm just putting it in for everybody. Hold on here. Put that into your TC 2000. Copy and paste. And then what you want to be doing is just transfer to your 6 windows. Pick out your favorites. Right? Pick out your favorites. Look at this cell H just going. Right? EVGO, MSTR, DJT. Dude, what else? Snow? Little Snow Daddy? Hell yeah. Little Snow Daddy? Got to. AMSC, good. CCL. Man, this is a good God-fearing Christian watch list if I've ever seen one. We're in the game, people. Now remember, the CPI came out. You may flush off at the open. Where we're more interested is if we come back into these kind of zones here, then I'm interested. Right off the gate, we're a little bit of a tweener, right? We're not at breakout and we're not at support. That's the worst spot to be in. It's like being in the back seat of your buddy's Volkswagen in the middle. In the middle, right? You're the penis in between us. That's an uncomfortable spot. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Yes. And we are in the middle of boot camp class where you guys should be always coming back into class as many times as you can. You have lifetime access. There will be Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. We shall have class. Always. Life, death, taxes, and Indians having excessive body hair. These are the things of life, right? But yeah, come into boot camp class. And by the way, from in the previous boot camp, send me your business plans and everything. Very, very necessary. I want to take a look at those bad boys. All right, cool. I'll be in the Discord room. I love you guys. Heck yeah, yeah. We got free trial always. There you go. All right, let's go do this, people. I'll be in the Discord room. Let's go have some fun. Let's go do what we do, which is the do. Bam.